Hmm.
I know this is really boring, but I'm getting everything set up. I can't fucking believe it. Okay, let's begin the show.
I am a boy in this, alas. Look round on all the world of men. The boys are oft of genus ass. Think yourself lucky, lady, then, if I at least am boy. You laugh? Not you. Is this love's epitaph? God's worm erect on Herod's throne. Ah, if I only had not known all wrong, beloved. Truth be ours, the one white flower of all the flowers you ever cared for. Ignorance may set its puppets up to dance. We know who pulls the strings, no sage. A man wash the bearded brute, his wife the mother prostitute. Behind the marionetted stage, see the true Punch and Judy show, turn copper so to silver. No, and who can help forgiving? So, said some French thinker, here's a drench, a verse unquestionably French to follow. I'm a boy in this elect.
If you're tempted, he says to them, to despair of his kindness or of ever being recovered, you need to remember. What are you supposed to remember? Well, it says there in verse 1, you're supposed to call to mind God's blessings and God's curses. What's supposed to say? The point is that God's blessings and God's curses direct the course of our lives generally.
Okay, just reading a book. What? What happened in my room?
And listen to.
Hello, testing, testing. Okay, this is me reading a book. That's right, it's spelled Book. And time is time, and I am I, too busy with my work to lie. A love lies prize of works, forsooth, too strong to care which way may go the ensuing history of woe, though I were jaw and you were tooth. So, more concerned with seeking sense than worried over consequence. I'll speak, and you shall hear the truth. Truth, like old Gaul, is split in three: a lesson in anatomy, a sketch of sociology, a tale of love to end. But see what stirs the electric flame of eyes. One word, that word. Be destinies in violet fiat rolled athwart the clouds and cobwebs of our speech and image integrative thought, this ebony anthem each to lie invulnerable alone, Valkyrie and hero in the zone, shielded by lightnings of our wit, guarded by fires of intellect. Far on the mountain top, elect of all the hills divinely lit by rays of moonrise, oh, the moon, oh, the interminable tune of whispered kisses, love exalts, intolerant of all else than he in ecstasy invades and salts, outshines the waves of harmony, lapped in the sun of day, the tides of wonder flow, the shores subsides, and over all the horizon glows the last glimmer of the sun. Ah, when the moon rises, she shall look on nothing but the sea. O love, and were I with thee ever, Come with me over the round earth, o'er lake and fountain, sea and river. Girdle the world with angel girth of angel voyage. Shall we roam in teeming jungles poisonous, or make ourselves an airy home where the black ice roars ravenous in glittering avalanche, or else hide in some quarry on the fells of heather and bracken, or delight in grottos built of stalactite? Or be our lonely haunt the sand of the Sahara? Let us go, where some oasis subtly planned for love invites the afterglow. There let us live alone, except some bearded horsemen, pennoned, ride over the waste of ochre, swept by wind and waves, and sit beside our tent a little, bring us news of the great world we have lost for this. What fool exclaims, to lose? To lose? Aye, earth and heaven for one small kiss. But he shall sing beside our fire the epic of the world's desire. How freedom fares. Teeming jungles poisonous, or how freedom fares, how art yet revels, sane in the dance of dogs and devils. His thunder voice shall climb and crash, scourge liars with tongues lightning lash. Through ranks of smitten tyrants drive, till bosoms heave and eyes outflash, and it is good to be alive. He shall ride off at dawn, and we shall look upon our life again. You old, and all your beauty be broken, and mine a broken brain, yet we shall know, delighting still in the soul, laughter death derides in vain. The indomitable will, still burning in the spirit, guides our hearts to truth. We see, we know how foolish were the things he said, and answered in the afterglow, how good it is that we are dead. Will you not come? Or where the surf beats on the coral and the palm sways slowly in the eternal calm of spring? I know a mound of turf good for our love to lie on, good for breezes and for sun and shade, to hear the murmur of the flood, to taste the kava subtly made, to rouse to Bacchic ecstasy, since Dionysus silently faded from Greece, now only smiles amid the soft wine isles. Good above all the good, to keep our bodies when we sleep the sleep. Make me a rose leaf with your mouth, and I will waft it through the air, to some far garden of the south, the herald of our happening there. Fragrant, caressing, steals the breeze, curls into kisses on your lips. I know interminable seas, winged ardor of the stately ships, space of incalculable blue, and years enwreathed in one close crown, and glimmering laughters echoing you from reverend shades of bards' renown. Nature alive and glad to him, your beauty my delight, her god. Weary his old eyes, sad and dim in his intolerable abode, all things that are unknown and known, bending in homage to your eyes, we wander wandering, lift alone the world's grey load of agonies. Make me a rose leaf with your mouth, that all the savour steal afar unto the sand awaiting south, where sits enthroned the answering star. Will you not come? The unequal fever of Paris hold our lives forever. Were it not better to exceed the avenging thought, the unmeaning deed make one strong act at least? How small, how idiot our lives, these folk that think they live, which dares at all to act. The suicide that broke his chain and lies so waxen pale in the morgue today, did he then fail? Aye, he was beaten but to live, slink on through what the world can give. Weary his own. That is a hound's life too. For me, the suicide stands grand and free beside these others. Was it fear drove him to stand upon the bank? Paris light shone far and drear, the mist was down, the night was dank. The Seine ran easily underneath, the air was chill, he knew the Seine by pain would put an end to pain, and jumped and struggled against death, I doubt not. Ye courageous men that scorn to flee the world, ye slaves of commerce, ye that ply the pen, that dig and fill and loathe your graves, ye counter-jumpers, clergy, Jews, all Paris smug and good, that used to point the index scorn, deride the courage of that suicide. Turf good for our luck to lie. I ask you not to quit us quite, but will you take a bath tonight? Money might make you. Well, but what was his wage? Money might make you. Well, but what was his wage? What was his fee? Fear, sir, then a mortal fear. Be silent, cowards, leave him here, dead in the morgue, so wax and pale he failed. Shall ye not also fail? Ah, love, the strings are little, the chords are overstrong, the chain of life is brittle, and keen the sword of song. Will you not seize in one firm grip, now, as I hold you, lip to lip, the serpent of event? Hold hard its slipping coils, its writhe retard, and snap its spine. Delicate hands you have, the work is difficult. Effort that holds and understands may do it. Shall our foes exult, the daughters of Philistia laugh, the girls of Ascalon rejoice, writing for us this epitaph? They choose and were not worth the choice. You are so pure, I am a man. I will assume the courage tried of yonder luckless suicide, and you will waken, if you can, the courage of the courtesan. To sea, the ship is trim, the breezes bend the sails, they chant the necromantic hymn, arouse Arabian tales. To sea, before us leap the waves, the wild white combers follow, invoke ye melancholy slaves, the morning of Apollo. There's phosphorescence in the wake, starlight o'er the prow, one comet like an angry snake lifts up its hooded brow. Black grows gray toward the east, the hidden to silver glows, gods gather to the mystic feast on interlunar snows. The moon is up full orbed, she glides striking a snaky ray. Oh my god, you evil bastard. I'm sitting here making a recording. I gotta go in like 20 minutes. Will you not seize in one firm grip now as I hold you lip to lip, the serpent of event? Hold hard its slipping coils, its writhe retard, and snap its spine? Delicate hands you have, the work is difficult. Effort that holds and understands may do it. Shall our foes exalt, the daughters of Philistia laugh? The girls of Ascalon rejoice, writing for us this epitaph. They chose and were not worth the choice. You are so pure, I am a man. I will assume the courage tried of yonder luckless suicide, and you awaken, if you can, the courage of the courtesan. To sea, the ship is trim, the breezes bend the sails, they chant the necromantic hymn, or rouse Arabian tales. To sea, before us leap the waves, wild white combers follow, invoke ye melancholy slaves, the morning of Apollo. There's phosphorescence in the wake and starlight o'er the prow. Will you not seize in one firm grip now? There's phosphorescence in the wake, and starlight o'er the prow. One comet, like an angry snake, lifts up its hooded brow. The black grows grey toward the east, a hint of silver glows. Gods gather to the mystic feast on interlunar snows. The moon is up full orbed, she glides, striking a snaky ray across the black resounding tides, the sepulchre of the day. The moon is up upon the prow. We stand and watch the moon. A star is lusted on your brow, your lips begin a tune. A long, low tune of love that swells little by little and lights the overarching miracles of love's desire and nights. It swells, it rolls to triumph song through luminous black skies, thrills into silence sharp and strong, assumes its peace and dies. There is the night. It covers close the lilies folded fair of all your beauty, and the rose half hidden in your hair. I don't know why. Can I turn the volume down on this fucking thing? So I've got a phone call in like 20 minutes, which I really don't want to do anymore, but I'll just fucking, well, I've already spent time doing it, so what a waste of time though. There is the night, unseen, I stand and look to seaward still. We would not look upon the land again had I my will. The ship is trim, to sea, take life in either hand, crush out its wine for you and me, and drink and understand. I am pretty advocate, my speech has served me ill, perchance silence had served, you now look straight on that clear evidence of France. The embroidered garter yonder. Wait, I had some confidence in fate, ere I spoke thus. For while I spoke, the old smile surely helpless broke on your tired lips, the old light woke in your deep eyes, but silence falls. Blank, blank, the species that appalls. Not our old silence, I devise a motto for your miseries. There an embroidered garter lies, and here words they lie too. I see your intuition of the truth is still in its most charming youth. You need that physiology. You need that physiology. I love you. That seems simple? No. Hear what the physiologist says on the subject. To and fro the motor axis of the brain hits on the cerebellum hard, makes the medulla itch, the bard twitches his spinal cord again, excites Rolando's fissure, and impinges on the pineal gland. Then hippocampus major strikes, the nerves, we may say he likes. But if the umbilical cord cut the cerebrum like a sword, and afferent ganglia, sensory bones, shake in the cacum, then one groans, he likes, Miss, what's your name? And if the appendix, vermiformis biff, the pericardium plura shoves, the femur, we may say, he loves. Here is the mechanism strange, but perfectly correct to change my normal calm, seraphic do into an ardent love for you. Is there a soul behind the mask? What master drives his slaves to task thus willing? Physiology wipes the red scalpel, scorns reply. My argument to please you swerves, becomes a mere defense of nerves. Why they are thus, why so they act, we know not. But accept the fact, how this for my peccations serves, marry how, tropically, packed, and bind with blood to show you use for this impertinence, and add a proverb fit to make you mad about the gander and the goose, till you riposte with all your force a miserable pun on sauce. The battle when you will, this truce I take in advantage, hold my course. See mechanic causes reach back through eternity, and form the stellar drift, the solar storm, the protoplasmic shiver, each little great determinant, law from fate. There's a soul behind the mask. Little great determinate, and law from fate the ultimate. If this be meaningless, much more vacant your speech and sophic skill, my feminine and fair Escobar, to prove mere circumstance is no bar against the freedom of a will. However this may be, we are here and not otherwise, star to star. Hence then act thou, restrain the dam, evoked by I am that I am, papaddened. Hark back to Hamlet. If you stand thus poised upon the cliff, free will, I await that will. 1, laughter. 2, the old kiss. 3, silence after. No? Then vacate the laboratory. Psychology must crown the event, and sociology content. Ethics suffice the simple story. Oh, that a woman ever went through course of science, full and whole, without the loss of beauty, sense, and grace, the subtlety of soul. Determinate. Ah, God, this law maketh hearts ache. Who eateth shall not have this cake, his cake. Accept me as I am. I give all you can take. If you dislike some fragments of the life I live, they are not yours. I scorn to strike one sword swift, paying against your peace. See, I am a mountaineer. Release that spirit from your bonds, or come with me upon the mountains. Cease this dull round, this addition sum of follies we call France. Indeed, cipher. And if at times I need the golden dawn upon the Alps, the gorges of Himalayan rock, the grey and ancient hills, the scalps of hoary hills, the rattling shock of avalanche down the hills, why, what but you? Your image fills my heart as these. I want you there. For whom but you do I ply pen? Talk with unmentionable men. God, this long. Of proofs and types still things, for whom but you am I the lover, bloom of flower, mortal flower, love, love, linger about me and above, the perfumed haze of incense mist, The air hath circled me and kissed. Here in this room on mountains far, yonder to seaward toward yon star, with your own kisses, yes. I see the roseate embroidery. Yonder, I know, it seems to give the lie to me in throat and teeth. That is the surface. Underneath, I live in you. In you I live. Will you not learn to separate the essential from the accidental, love from desire, caprice from fate, the inmost from the merely mental? Our star, the sun, gives life and light. Let that decay the eons drown, sense and stagnation, death and night, smite the fallen fragments of the crown. A spring, but serves the garter so? What wandering meteor is this? Type still thing. Will you not learn to separate the essential from the accidental, love from desire, caprice from fate, the inmost from the merely mental? Our star, the sun, gives life and light. Let that decay the eons drown sense and stagnation. Death and night smite the fallen fragments of the crown of spring, but serves the garter so? What wandering meteor is this across the archipelago, luminous of our starry bliss? Let that be lost. The smile disputes the forehead's temple with the frown when gravitation's arrow shoots and the stockings happen to slip down. You are my heart, the central fire whereby my being burns and moves, the mainspring of my life's desire, the essential engine that approves the will to live in these frail friends. The women I shall draw you, fail of more importance to earth's ends than to my life a fingernail. Will you not learn to separate the essential? To a pain, no doubt, were torn away a minute distemperature. They spend a fraction of the day plying the art of manicure. What always beats the heart? The more I polish, tint, or carve, I ask strength from the heart's too generous store to bend my fingers to the task. Cease, I am broken, naught remains. The brain's electric waves are still. No blood beats eager in the veins. The mind sinks deathward, and the will. It is no figure of boy's speech. Lovers, enthusiasm, rhyme, magniloquent, bard to reach. Truth through the husk of space and time. No truth is more devout than this. In you I live in you. Had Latmos not known Artemis? Where were the faint lights of that dew of Keats? O maiden moon of mine, imperial crescent, rise and shine. No doubt. I was a fool to hide it. Here phantoms arise and disappear, obedient to the master's wand. The incense curls like a pale frond of some grey garden glory about this room. They take my sceptre out, my royal crown evoke these phantoms in the glimmering smoke, and you shall see and take no hurt the very limb yon garter girt. I am a man. Consider first what we may learn, if but we will, from the small lecture I rehearsed, with very Huxley's strength and skill and clarity. What do I mean, admitting manhood? This today I fed on oysters, riz de var, beefsteak and grapes. Will you repay my meal with anger, rosy grow? With shame, because instead of you I went to feed Chez l'Avenue? The habit anthropophagus, nice as it is not for us. I love you. Will you share my life? To hide it here. Anthropophagus. I love you. Will you share my life? Become my mistress or my wife? Agreed. But can your kisses feed me? Is it for dinner that you need me? But think, it is for you I eat, even as the object that I see. The brain is pictured in the beat of nerves that mean the pictures. The picture are not like it, but dissimilar. How can a nervous current be like that of Velasquez? So I find dinner a function of the mind, not like you, but essential to even it my honest love of you. Consider then yon broidered toy in the same aspect, steals no joy, glittering beneath the sad pale face. Still grave my budding Arahat, you see the crux of my disgrace lies in the mad idea that that is not dissimilar, usurps the very function I have given, blissful beyond the bliss of heaven. Aha! That is a bird that chirps another song. You share life, become my mistress or my wife. Read, but can your kisses
Established, the other doesn't, because both of them want them to be addressed a certain way.
Yeah, I guess
So that's
I just don't see any they thems forcing anything on me. But
any what?
any they thems forcing anything on me. It doesn't
Well,
bother
look,
me.
if you mispronounced their pronoun, right? Would they could they, right? Or are they trying to establish some type of legislation to basically say that you are basically doing something wrong to them, inflicting harm in some way?
But you're talking about on the legislative level, not a
It's
personal
already
level.
in employment.
I'm saying on a personal level,
Okay,
it doesn't affect me.
fine.
But yeah, that's a point.
We're talking about force. Legislation is a way of forcing you to do something because there's a consequence now. A personal level, I agree, right? It's going to be your choice and how you want to decide to go about.
Did Mike cut out? Was that just?
Oh, I cut out also. But yeah, I think he did. I think he.
Alright,
I think
so
he's
does
trying
that
to
mean
talk,
I'm next?
but-
Is that
Yeah,
am I next? Am I next? Let me.
I was Red Barn. Go ahead, Barth.
Yeah. So the whole thing, like, I grew up in New York City, you know, in that era of club scene and stuff like that. And you know what? There's always been gay people, around New York. There's always been people that want to dress up like women, and I really feel like this trans thing, has always been since human civilization. I've always think there's always been gay people. There's always been people that were trans. This is not the first time we see this. If we look at we look at New York City in the turn of the century, 1898 from like 1902, 04. There was a large community of what do they call orphans? Parents that couldn't take care of their kids. Their parents died from disease, so on and so forth. There's a bunch of kids on the street around early New York, and some of these kids were forced into prostitution. And one of the parlors were for they used to force young boys, to dress up like women, and it was like a strip club. And this was very normal back then, in the turn of the century. They had prostitution of kids doing this type of stuff. I really feel like there's an era in all of time and all of history where people have been doing these sort of practices. Now, those people were exploited, I will tell you that. But were they probably naturally made? Maybe. Were they forced into it? Possibly. But was it a norm for men to want to pay or have services like this and it be attractive to them? Yeah. Because if not, they wouldn't have been doing it. And if you look, there was these young boys showing up dead all the time for whatever reason. Either they wanted to leave, or they didn't want to do it anymore, or they were trying to, call people out, like higher ups. But I just think this has always been part of society. It's just like now, since the social media and the way people are abusing it. Right now, I feel like people are abusing this trans thing for their own political gain. I feel like abusing, So I'm just letting you guys know, if you look this up in the street, this stuff has always been going on. So it's just now that it's becoming more.
I don't know what happened to the queue, but I'm gonna get back into the initial spot I was at. Wait, where the fuck's Nathan? Because I'm supposed to go after Nathan.
I'll take Nathan's turn.
Alright.
Not fucking what you got, but.
No, I was just gonna say, I'm not gonna lie, I'm always confused why these conversations keep happening again. Because I'll think by now we'd have the perfect sort of like understanding of the responses on both sides. So for me personally, I'm just gonna say for me personally, I acknowledge that my definition of woman to some degree is functionally arbitrary. In the same way a bunch of other definitions or categories are functionally arbitrary. But they're functional is the issue, right? So I would say, if you ask me what is a woman to me, I'd say it's someone I assume to be an adult with XX chromosomes, right? And in that, I'm sort of acknowledging the inherent assumptions that I'm making. And if you could say that, well, you're only just assuming, it's like, fair enough. But that definition also works for human too. Right? I've never seen somebody's XX chromosomes or XY chromosomes, so I can't actually know for a fact that this thing that I'm looking at is biologically female or male. But I also know that this thing I'm actually looking at is, I also can't know on the basis of that this thing that I'm looking at is biologically human either. And the funny thing is, if you say that gender is phenotypical, fundamentally, right, and that like the social sort of construct around that changes, then you can also play the same exact thing for human as a category, right? The way we know that we're humans is because we're looking at each other and determining that out of all the species that possibly exist, right? This is the one category we're going to say is human, and on the basis of that, we're going to give each other something called human rights. Now, if you're saying that we can arbitrarily just shift what that means, that I'm no longer human, I'm a cat, it's like, all right, cool, then I've got the right to deny you human rights as well, right? You're relegated to a different class altogether of thing that is subhuman, let's say. Right? But if you're saying that I can't just arbitrarily do that, right? I can't deny you human rights on the basis of identifying you as something that is not human, and that I have to just be reasonable with my identification and classification. At that particular point, it's like, okay, then why don't we extend that also to sex and gender? Like, that's the issue. You can make the argument, fair enough, that gender is phenotypical, but so is the identification of human beings as a class. I know that you're human because I'm looking at something that looks similar to me. Broad, shoulders, got arms, got legs, got eyes. You might have gone to a war, might have like one of these things.
Hey, this is John.
Hey, how's it going, sir? This is Brett over here at USAA. How are you doing this morning, sir?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you asking. Just was calling to see, is it still okay if
Yeah.
we go ahead and complete that virtual?
Yeah.
Virtual inspection?
Yeah, it's fine. I can do it right now.
Okay, perfect. Give me just a moment here, and I will have that sent over here to you in just a second on everything. I'm just trying to get it sent over right now. Hey, do you mind if I place you on a real brief hold, sir? My computer's just giving me a quick issue real quick. I'll have it fixed here in just a second. If you don't mind me, place you on a brief hold. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
sounds good.
I need to share something that most homeowners are completely in the dark.
give hope to America after they were trying to ruin us, his first act of God is to give Americans on Medicare new spending card. To those who are not aware, every senior on Medicare is entitled to a free prepaid spending card, which can be used in any store to pay for their food. Click below and follow the instructions to get your free prepaid spending card in the mail today. All people on Medicare who haven't claimed their spending card load.
turf good for our love to love. The breezes for sound shade to hear the murmur of blood. It's the carver sat to rouse to silently faded grease. Only smiles amid the soft wine isles. The good bodies when we sleep the sleep. Make me a rose leaf with your mouth there, some forgotten the south of our happening there. Fragrant steel breeze, grows into kisses our lips. No interminable sea, wingly ships, seas of incalculable blues, and wreathed in you, friend, shade of bar now, in your beauty my delight has gone. Will you not season one firm where his old eyes sad and dim in his improbable abode? All things of all mount turf good. That is a hound's life too. For me, the suicide stands grand and free beside these others. Was it fear drove him to stand upon the bank? Paris light shone far and drear, the mist was down, the night was dank. The Seine ran easily underneath, the air was chill, he knew the Seine by pain would put an end to pain, and jumped and struggled against death, I doubt not. Ye courageous men that scorn to flee the world, ye slaves of commerce, ye that ply the pen, that dig and fill and loathe your graves, ye counter-jumpers, clergy, Jews, all Paris smug and good, that used to point the index, scorn to ride the courage of that suicide. O mount of good for our love to love. I ask you not to quit us quite, but will you take a bath tonight? Money, that is a hound's life too. For me, the suicide stands grand and free beside these others. Was it fear drove him to stand upon the bank? Paris light shone far and drear, the mist was down, the night was dank. The Seine ran easily underneath, the air was chill, he knew the Seine by pain would put an end to pain, and jumped and struggled against death, I doubt not. Ye courageous men that scorn to flee the world, ye slaves of commerce, ye that ply the pen, that dig and fill and loathe your graves, ye counter-jumpers, clergy, Jews, all Paris smug and good, that used to point the index, scorn to ride the courage of that suicide. O mount of good for our love to love. I ask you not to quit us quite, but will you take a bath tonight? Money, that is a hound's life too. For me, the suicide stands grand and free beside these others. Was it fear drove him to stand upon the bank? Paris light shone far and drear, the mist was down, the night was dank. The Seine ran easily underneath, the air was chill, he knew the Seine by pain would put an end to pain, and jumped and struggled against death, I doubt not. Ye courageous men that scorn to flee the world, ye slaves of commerce, ye that ply the pen, that dig and fill and loathe your graves, ye counter-jumpers, clergy, Jews, all Paris smug and good, that used to point the index, scorn to ride the courage of that suicide. O mount of good for our love to love. I ask you not to quit us quite, but will you take a bath tonight? Money, that is a hound's life too. For me, the suicide stands grand and free beside these others. Was it fear drove him to stand upon the bank? Paris light shone far and drear, the mist was down, the night was dank. The Seine ran easily underneath, the air was chill, he knew the Seine by pain would put an end to pain, and jumped and struggled against death, I doubt not. Ye courageous men that scorn to flee the world, ye slaves of commerce, ye that ply the pen, that dig and fill and loathe your graves, ye counter-jumpers, clergy, Jews, all Paris smug and good, It used to point the index scorn to ride the courage of that suicide. Good for Allah. I ask you not to quit us quite, but will you take a bath tonight? Money, that is a hound's life too. For me, the suicide stands grand and free beside these others. Was it fear drove him to stand upon the bank? Paris light shone far and drear, the mist was down, the night was dank. The Seine ran easily underneath, the air was chill, he knew the Seine. My pain would put an end to pain, and jumped and struggled against death, I doubt not.
They were one or the other, and right now. Put on an accent. What's going on here? You know? That was so funny to me the first time I heard you. I completed it, and the person's like, all right, let me hear it another person. Exactly. It was so funny that we even got through like two on stage, and then it's like, oh,
Okay, we're going to do round 2 of book reading. I hope you enjoy. I was a fool to hide it. Here phantoms arise and disappear, obedient to the master's wand. The incense curls like a pale frond of some great garden glory about this room. Take my scepter out, my royal crown evoke these phantoms in the glimmering smoke, and you shall see, take no hurt, the very limb yon garter girt. I am a man. Consider first what we may learn, if but we will, from that small lecture I rehearsed, with very Huxley's strength and skill and clarity. What do I mean, admitting manhood? This today I fed on oysters, a riz de vue, beefsteak and grapes. Will you repay my meal with anger, Rosie, grow, with shame because instead of you I went to feed chaise l'avenue? The habit anthropophagus, nice as it is not for us. I love you. Will you share my life?
I was a fool to hide it.
With shame because instead of you I went to feed chaise l'avenue. The habit anthropophagus, nice as it is not for us. I love you. Will you share my life? Become my mistress or my wife? Agreed. But can your kisses feed me? Is it for dinner that you need me? But think, it is for you I eat, even as the object that I see. The brain 'tis pictured in, the beat of nerves that mean the pictures are not like it, but dissimilar. How can a nervous current be like the Velasquez? So I find dinner a function of the mind, not like you, but essential too, even it, my honest love of you. Consider then yon broidered toy in the same aspect, steals no joy, glittering beneath the sad, pale face. Still grave my budding Erahat. I see the crux of my disgrace lies in the mad idea that is not a similar usurps. I've already done all these. I don't know if I should. I don't think I should even read anymore. So note to self that image is probably more important than book.
We're going to borrow Sunday.
This like fine tuning issue where it's like surprising to us that fine tuning exists, right? And then you're saying, oh, well, there must be a God, and that God is the reason why the universe is fine tuned. But if we chase that down, it just gets to these like external facts, right, that constrain reality. And so God seems to be like superfluous. I could just appeal to those without God.
Well, if you just appeal to those facts, then you wouldn't have an explanation of fine tuning.
Why
Because
not?
those facts just don't have like a causal effect, or anyway, not the causal effect of the sort to ensure fine tuning. I mean, somebody could take that view. That's like also like some alternative to naturalism. It's like, you know, you can take.
I am boy in this, alas. Look round in all the world of men. The boys are oft of genus ass. Think yourself lucky, lady, then, if I at least am boy. You laugh? Not you. Is this love's epitaph? God's womb erect on Herod's throne. Ah, if I only had not known. All wrong, beloved.
That account for apparent fine tuning, right? But there's no God involved. And there's no like super mind.
I was
creating everything.
I was a fool.
So it seems like if it's going to be compatible with atheism,
I was a fool.
Good argument for theism.
Robert Francis Prevost.
That like obviously doesn't follow. Just like, you know, I could have like excellent evidence for theism. Like, I don't know, like God just.
I was a fool to hide it. Here phantoms arise and disappear, obedient to the master's wand. The incense curls like a pale frond of some great garden glory about this room. Take my scepter out, my royal crown invoke, these phantoms in the glimmering smoke, and you shall see, take no hurt, the very limb yon garter girt.
Not merely that it's consistent. Sorry, I should have said, it just seems equally.
I'm saying, let's show that we can go with atheism. So, just
that is a hound's life too.
I'm kind of
For me,
as much as I can, and ordinarily,
that is a hound.
I'd ordinarily be tempted to go back a little bit and question some earlier premises. You said basically the universe is fine-tuned, so we grant that. It's surprising that it has this, array of constants that are twiddled or whatever to be at the
Good afternoon. This is Brett over here at USA. Sorry about that delay that we ran. I'll be around this afternoon if you want to give me a shout back whenever you're available. Only time I'm not available today is 2:30 to 3:30 on my end. So just give me a call.
If you order fish and chips in London, you might be eating a shark. This is a dogfish, a baby shark of sorts, and they're a super common bycatch when we're out fishing. They're really freaking annoying because they get your gear all tangled when you catch one, and they have these really sharp spines that sting you really bad if you get nicked. However, in the UK, dogfish is very commonly used as fish and chips, so I decided to keep one and see how it tasted. Dogfish, just like some other shark species, lack a traditional urinary tract, so they concentrate urea in their blood and then release it through their skin. So the meat reeks of urine. I'm using this toadfish fillet knife today to fillet this dogfish, and then we're going to soak it in a mixture of apple cider vinegar and cold water. 24 hours later, the fillets no longer smell like pee and they're ready to eat. I mixed together flour, seasonings, and a random beer that was sitting around in my fridge. I fried these fillets until golden brown, about 4 minutes total, and this toadfish spatula was perfect for delicately removing these beautiful pieces of fried fish. I immediately hit these fried dogfish fillets with some salt and served it with some tartar sauce. If you order fish and chips in London...
I was a fool to hide it. Here phantoms arise and disappear, obedient to the master's wand. Turf good for our love to love, for breezes for sun and shade, to hear the murmur of blood, to the cover sun, to rouse to tidily faded grease, tidily faded.
How do you...
You sure, knife, become my mistress or my wife? Agreed. But can your kisses feed me? Is it for dinner that you need me? But think, it is for you I eat, even as the object that I see. I eat.
We don't give Congress fiscal advice. We take what they do as a given and we put it in our models and in our assessment. We don't give Congress fiscal advice. We don't give Congress to figure out how to very little on climate. You could say that was very little on climate. Very little. But they haven't materialized yet. They're really unlikely a recessionist, but unlikely.
Sorrow unexpressed that shadows those ecstatic lids. A word in season subtly rigs up. Subtly who are silent. Who
Didn't you have a flaming sword? You did. It was flaming like anything. What happened to it? Lost it already, haven't you?
gave it away.
You what? I gave it away. Didn't you have a flaming sword? You did. It was flaming like anything. What happened to it? Lost it already, haven't you?
Gave it away.
You what? I gave it away. Didn't you have a flaming sword? You did. It was flaming like anything. What happened to it? Lost it already, haven't you?
Gave it away.
You what? I gave it away. Didn't you have a flaming sword? You did. It was flaming like anything. What happened to it? Lost it already, haven't you?
Gave it away.
You what? I gave it away.
You are silent, that we always were, the racing masters of your hair spat out its sunny message. The room was dusk, a rosy glow, shed from an antique Tom Cadmon.
Thing, like, did anything.
What the fuck are you talking about?
So definitely.
was. But to me, it just seemed.
I guess just reading a book.
This news of the great world we have lost for this. The fool exclaims to lose. To lose? Aye, earth and heaven for one small kiss. But he shall sing beside our fire the epic of the world's desire. How freedom
Shall we
fares.
know the teeming jungle's poisonous? Or
How free into pain that jumped and struggled against death, I doubt not.
breaking news! This is the Illinois Record. Go to illinoisrecord.com. Del Mar accused of threats in Cook County GOP power grab. Leaked election.
I was a fool to hide it. Here phantoms arise and disappear, obedient to the master's wand. The incense curls like a pale frond of sun-grey garden glory about this room.
Boat job. Tzu-Chang said, "What are the four vices?" The master said, "To leave untaught and then kill is cruelty, to ask full tale without warning is tyranny, to give careless orders and be strict when the day comes is robbery, to be stingy in rewarding men is littleness." The master said, "A man who is blind to doom can be no gentleman. Without a knowledge of courtesy we must want foothold. Without a knowledge of words there is no understanding men. Having hearts are better than men that are near of kin. All the people throw the blame upon me alone." He attended to weights and measures, revised the laws, and restored broken officers. On all sides order reigned. He revived states that had perished and gave back fiefs that had reverted. He called forth men from hiding. All hearts below heaven turned to him. The people's food, burials, and worship he held to be of moment. His bounty gained the many.
Tzu-Chang said, "What are
Dude, I gotta tell you, the sayings of Confucius are some of the best philosophy, really, because it's political in nature almost entirely.
this room?"
Stop Congress now. Fucking stop Congress.
Habit anthropophagus.
Vote Trump and Republicans. Stop the bullshit and scams. Fuck the Democrat clown scam, COT, BLM, LGBTQD. Darren Hood still told Republicans and voters to vax, so the pandemic will never end.
I was a fool to hide it. Here phantoms arise and disappear. Obedient. I was
a fool to hide it.
I am a boy in this, alas. Look round in all the world of men. The boys are oft of genus ass. Think yourself lucky, lady, then, if I at least am boy. You laugh? Not you. Is this love's epitaph? God's worm erect on Herod's throne. Ah, if I only had not known. All wrong, beloved. Truth be ours, the one white flower of all the flowers you ever cared for. Ignorance may set its puppets up to dance. We know who pulls the strings, no sage. A man wash the bearded brute, his wife the mother prostitute. Behind the marionetted stage, see the true Punch and Judy show. Turn copper so to silver. No, and who can help forgiving? So, said some French thinker, here's a trench, a verse unquestionably. I am a boy in this, alas.
The sayings of Confucius. The master said, in learning and straightway practicing, is there not pleasure also? When friends gather round from afar, do we not rejoice? Whom lack of fame cannot vex, is not he a gentleman? Yutsu said, "A dutiful son and brother is seldom fond of thwarting those over him. A man unwilling to thwart those over him is never given to crime. A gentleman nurses the roots. When the root has taken, the truth will grow. And what are the roots of love, but the duty of son and of brother? The master said, honeyed words and flattering looks seldom speak of love. Zhang said, thrice daily I ask myself, have I been unfaithful in dealing with others? Have I been untrue to friends? Do I practice what I preach? The master said, to guide a land of 1,000 chariots on a business, be true and sparing, love the people and time thy claims upon them. The master said,
The sayings of Confucius.
This is pretty good, isn't it? Hi, Juan. Hi, Juan. Hope all is well. When do you think you might be free next? When to Hi, well, how was all? When do you think you might be free next to finish finish the repairs? Thanks. Juanito. Thanks.
The sayings of Confucius. The sayings of Confucius. The master said in The sayings of Confucius. The master said, in learning and straightway practicing is there no Hope you enjoy. This will be my last. That project, Israel. He's like a mute mapping there, but if they did like it's not a strict UI. The sayings of Confucius. In words and flattering looks, words and word. I am a boy in this, alas. I was a fool to hide it. Here phantoms arise and disappear, obedient to the master's wand. The insect.
Experience so far with.
They call us witches. They call us damned. Yellow is associated. Nah.
Yeah, I mean, well,
I can hope I was. When do you think maybe Felix to finish the next day?
That want to essentially create what I term, and many people are terming now, called the woke right. We just defeated the woke left. We just defeated the woke left. But there are a lot. The sayings of Confucius. Sparing love the people in time thy claims upon them. The sayings of Confucius. The master said, in learning and straightway practice.
The master said, to guide a land of 1,000 chariots, honor business, be true and sparing, love the people, and time thy claims upon them. The master said, the young should be dutiful at home, modest abroad, heedful and true, full of goodwill for the many, close friends with love. And should they have strength to spare, let them spend it upon the arts. Tzu Sia said, if a man honor worth and forsake lust, serve father and mother with all his strength, be ready to give his life for the king, and keep faith with his friends. Though men may call him rude, I call him learned. The master said, of a gentleman who is frivolous, none stand in awe, nor can his learning be sound, make faithfulness and truth. Thy masters have no friends unlike thyself. Be not ashamed to mend thy faults. Zheng Tzu said, respect death and recall forefathers. The good in men will again grow sturdy.
The master said to God. Breaking news! This is the Illinois Record. Go to Illinois.
Shit, oh my god, hilarious.
Breaking news! This is the Illinois Record. Go to IllinoisRecord.com. Del Mar accused of threats and Record.com. master said to guide a land of 1,000 chariots, honor business, be true in spitting, love the people, and time thy claims upon. True in spitting. True in spitting.
Please don't scroll. I'm just. Please don't scroll. I'm just.
May I be with you, you God? May you be with me, you God? Love you, God. Love you, God. Love you, God. Dan has a falling out with his liberal father and is seeking dirt in the sun. See, Dan has a vexed knowledge more on fraud and high-speed internet infrastructure scam artist.
Hey everybody, this is Congressman-elect Kitover. This
Dime a dozen. Fucking dime a dozen. Alright, everybody, hope you enjoyed this live stream. We're gonna finish maybe reading some books or maybe not. I don't know.